But that three-year NDA form is done. It's done. So
It's finished.
it's finished. It's been done.
Everybody go. 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 Hey everybody! Bitch, I'm back. I went and got back on my PJs. America's Next Top Model, Cycle 7. Live! Let's pin this comment. Listen, guys. Today I'm speaking to Anchal Joseph. Why did I say her name like that? Today I'm speaking to Anchal Joseph from America's Next Top Model, Cycle 7. I am very excited about doing this, one, because I really didn't think she would do it. You know, those girls, and this is no shade to, well, maybe I should say it's not no shade, because if I'm saying it's no shade, it is kind of shady, so I'll just say it. Growth. So, you know, some of those girls, when their careers go into like a different route that's so great and it's outside of top model, I be like, they really don't want to revisit this stuff. So like when girls like Anchal tell me yes, when girls like Joanna, Eugenia tell me yes, I'm like, oh my God, thank y'all so much, because I feel like they've done enough things that have separated them from the show. And when you don't hear them talk about it, it's like you kind of get the impression they don't want to talk about it because they passed it, which they should be. But anyways, Cookie, go sit down right now. We're not going to do this during this live today with Auntie Anchal. Sit your butt down right now. And do not move. Auntie always, she has sent her request, and we are going to bring the beauty.
Call me Auntie Anchal.
Anchal, you are dusted.
Thank you. I tried. I was warned beforehand.
They warned you? What did they say?
They were like, please paint your face before you go on the show with him, because he is always done up.
No, that's not true. Let me tell you. You know, sometimes I do the lives after I get off set, and depending on what I did that day. So, like the other day when I did a live, I had to finish my green screen. So, of course, you know, you have to go a little lifted.
Yeah.
But no, I actually hate doing makeup. It's so like, ugh.
So do I. I'm like, if I had known that, I wouldn't have done any. Just a little eyeliner would be good to go. So what's up? Nice to finally meet. Well, talk to you.
It's so great to talk to you too. You are so freaking gorgeous. I feel like I'm looking into the center of, trying to think. If I bit something open, what would look like Anchal? Just beauty and radiant right now. I think the only thing my brain can say is a plum.
A plum? Oh, I'll take it. I like plums. I'll take it.
And they smell so pretty.
Yeah, and they're nice and juicy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all of that.
Where are you calling from right now?
I'm actually in my bedroom. I'm sitting in my bed. I was running around, and I'm like, this is the quietest place in my house at the moment. If you hear a dog bark or a goat bleat, my bad. And chickens. I have pets, so you may hear them at one point or another.
Where do you live?
I'm staying with my parents right now with this whole pandemic thing. I live in Homestead. I still live in that little town back in the day. So yeah.
Homestead, Florida? Homestead,
Florida.
I'm from Fort Lauderdale.
No way. Where are you now?
I live in Atlanta.
Oh, look at that. Florida.
You were always from Homestead?
I've always been from Homestead. I moved to Miami. I lived in Miami for a bit on South Beach, and then I moved to New York, and then I moved back.
Okay, can I get ratchet for like 2 seconds? I'm not going to disturb any goats or chickens or anything like that.
No, you're not. No, I'm just saying if you happen to hear them.
Anchal, you a Florida girl.
I am a Florida girl. I am. I am. There's a little hood in me.
So you know about slip and slide and an occasional trick and Trina.
Yes, I do.
You
Yes,
see,
I do.
you see how my okay.
Yeah.
I'll get lost in it. I'll get lost in it.
I'm real proper unless, I've had a few drinks, then all of a sudden you see a different person. Could have drank.
I'll be in Miami next week.
Oh, will you?
Mm-hmm. And they told me I have like 3 days off.
You have 3 days off? Okay. Maybe we could link up. Maybe we could link up.
You know what? Certain parts were.
I'm just worried about this whole damn Corona shit. That's the only problem. But other than that, I'm down. We could keep our 6 foot distance.
Yes, we can be 6 feet apart. But no, okay. Listen, let's give the people what they came here for because I'll get lost.
Sorry, my bad. I'm like I have a little nervous sweat going.
No,
nervous staff.
Don't be nervous. You're safe with me. Okay,
I'm glad.
Yes.
So okay. What's up? What questions do we start with? Where do we begin?
Okay, so I pulled the questions from my YouTube channel, which are the fan questions. So these are their questions. These are not my thoughts. I just thought they were great questions. And if I saw like a bunch of them pop up, I pulled them. So if you get upset with them, not me. Okay, you got it. I'm going to see if I can make this. Try to make this work. No, get it together. Anchal, you are still so freaking beautiful. I try. And you know what? The most popular question that the fans had between Instagram and YouTube was, how in the did Anchal look at herself every day and look like that and allow those freaking people to fuck with her? All right, let's start from the beginning. First of all, when I was on the show, first of all, here's the tea. I was 19 when I got on the show. 19. So I lived a very sheltered life. I'm first generation. My parents came from India. I was 6 or 7 when I moved here. So it's a different culture for me. To this day, me and my sister look back. My sister is 8 years younger than me. And she looks at me and she thinks about it. She's like, we really weren't exposed to a lot of things that kids, I was born in 87. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the 80s baby have this culture that they were raised with. There's a lot of things like voguing and all that stuff. I had no clue what that was. Right. So going into this, it was a whole new world for me. I was such a sheltered kid. Honestly, I didn't know the LGBT community. I didn't know anything about that. I had no clue that they even existed. This is how sheltered I was. So it was a whole new world for me when I went into Top Model, because I had amazing makeup artists like Raja. You know Raja from Raja, Mrs. J, Mr. J, it was a different world for me. And then coming across, I don't know, my parents never raised me to depend on my beauty. So I never looked at it that way. And I was also very bullied growing up here. So it was, I remember in 2nd grade, I wanted to play on the playground. And mind you, this was a private school. And this girl came up to me and she was like, you need to go home and shave your hairy legs. I was in 2nd grade, but you better believe I came home and I tried to shave it. But that was kind of it. So it was I was always bullied in a way. And I never really saw myself beyond that. And I'm not saying I was ugly. I never thought of myself as ugly, but I also didn't depend on my beauty like that. So when people were like, oh my gosh, she has such low self-esteem and all this other stuff, it wasn't that. It wasn't that I had low self-esteem. I just never saw it that way. I never looked at beauty that way. That makes sense. And I think basically I was raised more in a way where it's not your beauty that makes you stand out in a crowd. It's your intellect. It's the way you have a conversation. It's more than that. Mm-hmm. And when it came down to being on the show and they looked at me, oh, you're so beautiful, you're this, you're that, I really didn't know how to interpret it and then put it back out. I had no clue. Gotcha. Because the way you were raised, emphasis wasn't placed on beauty. No, emphasis was never placed on beauty. Not like that. Little sweat stash. I should have grabbed a napkin. No. Do you want to go get one? Girl, this is affordable. Nah, go get it. I'm good. I'm sure? Good. Okay. Do I look sweaty? I'm dewy. We'll call it dewy. Dewy. It's the dewy look. So how does Anchal, who's raised this way, say I'm going to go audition for America's Next Top Model, which basically is a beauty competition?
All right, so we'll start from the beginning real quick. I'll try to do the rundown as fast as I can. Top model, I never applied for top model. So I was actually modeling before. I was 15 and I had started modeling. I ended up shooting with Bruce Weber, and I had a couple other photos that I had done, like test shoots that I'd done, and I had put them on MySpace times. And one of the scouts from Top Model actually found me on MySpace, and she's like, hey, we're reaching out for America's Next Top Model. How would you feel like doing it? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you weren't real. Please don't contact me. I never want to hear from you again. She was persistent. She came back. She's like, no, no, no. We're legit. Bring your dad, bring your whole family, whoever you want. Come down and meet us because it's close calls. I was like, sure. So I actually met with her with my dad, and she was like, we're for real. See, it's not an open call that you'll be going to. It's close call. So you just go in there, talk to a camera. You'll do a little casting, and that's it. So I was like, okay. My dad's like, yeah, go ahead, do it. My dad was really actually very supportive of it. So I did it. We signed some papers. I went in the next day. I talked to a camera. I was like, hey, my name is Anchal Joseph, blah, 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 blah. Why I should be on Top Model. I don't even remember the things that I said. I was really like excited about just meeting Tyra Banks. That was the whole thing. And I'm not really a person who gets starstruck or anything like that. It was just an admiration because she was like the closest thing that looked like me at the time, like when it comes to skin color and all that stuff. So it was nice to see that she had her own show and there was representation. I was 19. It was all new to me. So I was like, yeah, I'm down. But I never took it as a way of like, oh my God, it's Top Model. I get to be on a TV show. I never went in going like looking forward to that. It was just like, okay.
Something to do?
Yeah, it's here. I actually did French Vogue before I even went on Top Model.
Really?
So, yeah. So all that's like, I already was establishing a career, and I had stopped because I was going to go to school because my parents were big on education. So I actually stopped, and then they found me on MySpace, and I went and applied, and they called me back, and I flew out to LA. So there you go. Now you have the rundown as to why I ended up on Top Model.
I'm just Googling your French Vogue photo.
It's simple. I actually shot, Natalia Vandenova was there. I passed out on set. It was
you did that.
It was hot. It was an outdoor shoot. And they were smoking a cigarette for the look of the shoot, and it just did not, mesh well with me. And next thing you know, I'm next to Natalia Vandenova, and I wake up with her with my legs in the air. She's like, get her orange juice, get her orange juice. So I have some pretty fond memories. She's a really sweet person.
That is glorious.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my first time shooting for French Vogue with Natalia Vandenova, and I passed out on set.
Oh, I don't want to laugh. Okay,
No, you can laugh. I laugh about it. You have to laugh about it. It's
that's a key. Okay, so you audition and you get flown out. You go to wherever you guys are filming, and you see these other girls. You're getting the full experience, production, all this other stuff. It's audition week, and you walk in and you see Tyra and the Jays. Tell us about that moment for you.
Again, I don't get starstruck, and I think that probably threw him off too. So I was just like, yay, instead of the other girls who were like, oh my God. And it's not like I wasn't appreciating the moment. It was just like, I take it all in stride. I never get overexcited about things. And sometimes people think that, oh, she's not excited, she doesn't want to be there. No, man, I gotta like take it in. Like, let me enjoy and savor the moment. I'm not one to like be like, oh my God. I never do that.
Gotcha.
So I was never, but it was pretty, it was just like surreal. I'll be honest. It's a surreal moment, getting to the point and meeting these people is just like, wow, I've always admired you walking down the Victoria's Secret runway, and here you are. Like, this is how this side of the world is when it comes to like production and TV and film and all that stuff. So it was it was all intriguing.
Gotcha.
It's all including taking it in.
And so with you being there, did you really walk into the situation thinking like, I have a good chance of winning this?
No, I didn't. I actually went in there with one step at a time mindset. I'll take it as I go.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that was also a downfall because I wasn't looking at the end goal of like winning this whole thing. I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity. Whatever happens, happens, because I don't put all my eggs in one basket when it comes to that. Like mentally, I don't want to be let down. Who wants that?
Right.
So I went in there and I was just like, all right, let's do this. What do you ask of me and what do I have to do? And I'll put my best foot forward. But TV being TV, that is not how it turned out. So there is a lot, like having been in the modeling world before and then being put into that, I was like, this is not how it works. We're talking about doing shoots and sets, coming home at like 12 at night. Then we have to wait for the girl, whoever got eliminated before, to be let out of the house. And then by the time you're getting back into the house, it's 2 a.m. and then you're waking up at 4. Now, don't get me wrong. I've been on late, like real sets, like movie sets and show sets, and that's how it
Tell
works.
them again, Anchal.
Well, I'm just saying.
No, say it
I've
again.
been there, done that.
Do it again.
I've been on movie sets and show sets, and I know how it works. So, so having been that, experience that, is just that it was brutal when it comes to that. All right, so the girls, we couldn't talk. We were put on ice if the cameras weren't on and if we weren't microphone. We couldn't go grocery shopping on the regular. It's like we had to go, we went with a group. Like it was separated. Like we would have to go alone, or they would give one girl to go get everybody's groceries. It was like that. And it's been so long, so I'm trying to remember things. I remember one time when Monique got eliminated, we were all waiting in the limousine outside, waiting to be let in, and it was hours. I'm talking about hours. Girls were peeing outside of the limousine door in front of mansions because we couldn't go anywhere. We could not go anywhere. So it was stuff like that that was happening. I'm dead serious. I remember the girls be like, we have to pee. What's happening? What's taking her so long? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And there was girls like open up the limousine door and they had to do what they had to do.
What was taking them so long?
So apparently, I think it was Monique was just taking longer to pack up, and then maybe her exit interview. I'm not sure, so I really can't say it. But I think it was either her taking her sweet little time getting out of the house, and then it was her exit interview. That probably took a while. Because they record everything before the girl leaves the house because they have the room in the house.
Gotcha. I can't remember who said it in the live I've done before, but they said that while the girl is inside packing up her stuff, that you guys are actually outside just waiting for them to.
We're in the limousine. Mm-hmm. We have no restroom. We have nothing else. We're literally just waiting. We have no water, no food. We're just waiting. It's a waiting game.
And so for the production assistants who are there, and you're telling them, I have to go to the restroom. What are they? Hi, Carey D. Carey D. English. I just saw her pretty little head pop up in here. Hi, Carey D.
That's my baby. I love her. I love D.
I was so happy she won. I was like, if Carey D doesn't
win. Me too. I cried when she won. She deserved it. Carey D had the utmost, like, she had fun with it. She was for it. She was just aggressive with it. And then just her personality, she was so sweet and caring for everyone. There was no cattiness. There was no bashing. Carey D was Carey D. So when she won, I think she deserved it all. There was nothing. She had no animosity towards anyone. You loved her for who she was. So, and seeing her achieve that was such a beautiful thing. And then she's always stayed the same way. She's so humble. So humble.
I remember that last freaking episode. Anchal, is it okay if I occasionally curse from time to time? That's not going to make your hair raise. Okay.
I'm trying to control my tongue. Okay.
Oh, no, girl, let it go. Okay, perfect. Yes, let's let it rip. Let it rip. Okay, so.
Let's fuck it up. Okay.
I remember that last freaking episode, and I felt like it was aligning it for her to walk into the wind. And when Carey D's crazy ass came running down that goddamn runway, forgetting to model, I'm like, Carey D, why? Why are you carrying on like
You.
this, girl? Can you not? Can you freaking not? Which leads me to say, I think one of the most iconic moments of footage ever on Top Model is when Miss J is running down that runway screaming, and then she corrects herself and proceeds to strut down that. She will forever be a deity in my brain.
But that's Carey D.
But yes,
That's
I said I'd like to take yeah. So when she won, I was so happy. I was like, yes, thank you, Jesus.
Because that's who she is. And like, I couldn't think of anyone more deserving. Like my top three were Carey D, Eugenia, and actually Megan. There was one of the Megans. I expected her to win because she just had a different look. She was very Charlize Theron. Like she was unique, but she was quiet. So at the end of the day, I think who deserved to win won. So Carey D for the win.
You didn't say Melrose. I actually, I didn't care for Melrose throughout the thing. I didn't care for her on the show. Let me make sure I say that right, because I don't know her. Like, I just know her from the episodes of Top Model she was on. But I felt like her pictures were nice, and like I felt like she did a good job to get to the top.
Melrose. Like I have grown as a person.
Was
Melrose
she really
being
that
honest,
bad?
well, yeah, she actually was that bad. It was a bit of bullying happening and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, like shit turned out the way it did. I have no animosity towards her either. Like I don't hate the woman. She was a bitch to me on the show, but it is what it is at that point. Like she really was that way. There was no editing when it came to that. I don't know what other shit she talked behind my back, but whatever, it happens. And from that moment on, like I went off of now when I meet people, and my friend Manny, I know Manny always tells me, he's like, one thing that's bad about you is that you are judgmental. And I know that. But once I feel someone's energy, like I go off of that. Like that's it. Like there is no yes or no. I really don't want to talk to you. I don't want to sit with you. I don't want to be next to you. And sometimes that's really off-putting, but it's yet to fail me. It has yet to fail me. So once I have the perception of you, I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep my distance. And this doesn't mean I'm going to come at you or be catty behind your back and all that. I just not going to like you. And we don't have to be friends. And I wish I had kept that mentality on the show. I think I would have been more wary of Melrose. But I was very naive. I was like, oh my God, they're all girls. They all want to be friends and blah, 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 blah. I didn't take it as a competition in that sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So.
Well, I know we had this big old opening. We haven't even really got into the questions, the fan questions yet. Just so you guys know, those of you who are watching this, what I normally do is I go live with the girls and then I'll post it later on my YouTube channel. But Instagram, because these segments I'm doing with you guys have gotten very popular, they've actually invited me to their badge program. So I use the badge program. If you get a badge, you're basically supporting me, and I can answer your fan questions right now live with Anchal sitting right here. So you can click on it and whatever, it gives you the instructions. But at the end, once we're all done with her and I invite you guys in, I'm going to read the questions according to the badges I see. So yeah, let me get into the fan questions.
All right, here we go.
Did you watch my live with Eugenia?
I caught snippets of it because she posted it and I was watching. I have a few things to say about what she mentioned too, about her injuries and all that, but we'll let you ask the questions and I'll come back to it.
Okay. Listen, I tell the girls.
Oh,
so sorry. My mother's
okay.
calling me right now, and I'm like, you don't see I'm on live right now, lady? Like, why are you calling me? Why are you calling me?
Yeah, that's why I turned my calls off. You're just on Wi-Fi now.
Jesus. But no, I tell people all the time that I don't pre-screen you guys. Like, I don't ask you guys any questions. I don't ask anything. So, you know, a lot of times when you girls come on and you girls are telling me these stories and these things, I'm sitting here like,
what? Yeah, I know.
Yes, and Eugenia definitely had me sitting there like,
yeah. That shit was real. That really happened.
So here we go. So Smize, I've told y'all about these goddamn screen names. And because I was in a bit rush today, I didn't do my normal just do and filter you guys out. But I feel like they do this to me on purpose. The screen name says, Smize Cream Pot Leadum Booty Tooch Bitch.
Okay. All right. That's a unique name right there.
That is funny. So they said, what was the general feeling when Tyra Banks came out before the Stereotype photo shoot, screaming all the way like a loon? And what are your thoughts about the show portraying drug addiction, bulimia, and anorexia as stereotypes and making a fashion statement out of that?
Wow.
That's a good question.
That's a very good question.
Mm.
Woo. Like, okay, this goes back to me being 19. I really didn't understand the impact of all of that back then, because in the modeling world, that's a norm. That is a norm. Like, there are girls with eating disorders. It took me a couple years to, you could say I had an eating disorder too, in the sense of like, I didn't have a very healthy relationship with food at all, because they were like, you're too big, your hips are this, your boobs are too big. Everything was too big. And when I started modeling, I was 125 pounds. My hips were, I looked like a bobblehead with boobs. That's all. I looked like a bobblehead. I was so skinny. I was 125 pounds, and I remember going into an agency here in Miami, and this is before a top model. My hip bones would stick out, and my hips were 35.5 inches, and they said my hips were too big. The only way my hips were going to get any smaller is if I shaved my hip bones off. And there is no way that's going to happen.
No, we're not shaving no hip bone now.
So I'm like, okay. And then that's when in my head, I was like, all right, I got to stop eating carbs. It was to the point until a couple of years ago, I would not eat the whole pizza. I would leave the crust behind. I would only eat the toppings. So this is like years of like mental shit. Like, you're just fucked in the brain when it comes to food. When I would get anxiety, if I had a shoot coming up, I'm like, oh my God, let's not eat food. But then I would binge eat because I was so nervous. So things like this, it was just an unhealthy pattern with food. And when it comes back to the shoots and looking back now, I'm like, it's not a stereotype. That's real shit that's happening, And I wouldn't doubt it if there was girls on the show at that time dealing with that stuff. And then they had to go and portray it. So, I don't think it should have been a stereotype. I think it should have been an issue that people need to confront. Mm-hmm. And they mislabeled it. But again, everything on that show it's for TV, it's for entertainment. And can you blame them? It's a source of entertainment. It's reality TV. If I had known the things I know now, I probably wouldn't have done that show.
Really?
Yeah, or I would have done things differently. But my first initial thought would be like, I would deny it. Like, it's not what it's all, because it was very hard getting back into the real essence of modeling after the show, because they already labeled me as a girl from Top Model. And all those images that they took, they were so extremely photoshopped and like these extreme shoots that none of the agents wanted to see it. None of them.
Which photos do you believe were like extremely photoshopped?
Photoshopped in the sense of like the one that I'm the skydiving one, but I'm in the galaxy trying to catch the makeup.
Cover girl thingy.
Yeah, the cover girl makeup. Even the narcissist shoot, like that was fun. That was super cool. And it came out great, but you really couldn't use that because it was like, what theme are you going for? Does it fit in your book? It's like, it's a different thing. So it didn't, and the Oprah one, where I had to pretend to be Oprah, like, how is that going to help me in the modeling world?
I don't, So I did a live with the girls from Cycle 13, the short cycle, and they unanimously said at the same time that they could use none of their top model photos.
Yeah, you can't. I couldn't use any of them. None of them. They were useless to me.
Even the one on the runway.
The one on the runway was actually my favorite, but yeah, no, I couldn't, because it was just like, you see the fear in my face of me posing. because the runway was rocky. The runway was not, and never in my life, and I have done numerous runways before I went on that show, never in my life have I seen a runway like that. They're always stable and secure. And on top of that, my skirt was a midi skirt. So, and there were steps to get onto the platform. I had to do a little side step. It was like the funniest thing. And there's no slit in the skirt, so you really can't walk. So my legs were just doing this thing. They were like attached. You might as well have taped my knees together.
You know, I'm sitting here listening to you say this, and I'm like, what is wrong with society? Like, we seriously sat here and laughed and got entertained by these women, by these women in these fashion contraptions in high heels walking on a non-secure runway on the top of water.
They had scuba divers in the water just in case we did fall. So they had they had at least like 3 to 4 scuba divers waiting for us to fall.
We suck as people. That's
But again, you guys never saw this. So you guys all had this person like, oh, that girl cannot walk while we were struggling.
No, that's exactly what's going on in my brain. Like, she fell or she sucks because she did it right and she got a good picture. So of course you. But I'm thinking, no, that's how can.
It was cruel. It was cruel in certain aspects of it. So yeah, it was just TV entertainment. It's edited to quite an extreme.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So mermaid scales. Tara wants to know, hi Anchal, I always wanted to know if production set up that hot tub scene where you listened in on the girls talking shit about you, and did production tell you to go listen in, and did they tell the girls to start talking about you?
No, okay, so when it comes to that, see, I guess I do have a tendency of putting things behind me and not really remembering things like that. No, I think I just happened to come across them talking about me, and I think one of the girls told me that, hey, Anchal, they're talking shit about you. You should go stick up for yourself. Mm-hmm. So I don't remember what exactly they were saying. I think it was Melrose who started something, but again, the drama. It's all for the drama. And if it happened, it happened. But it wasn't production wasn't really allowed to get involved. Mm. So we couldn't talk to production. We were always on ice. If we weren't mic'd, we couldn't talk. I remember I was on the phone one time and I went off at that time. I was talking to somebody on the phone, but I didn't have my mic on, and I got into a huge fight in the call booth. And they came out, they said, Anchal, get off the phone. You have to be on the mic, because they just wanted some, clips and stuff to see why I was arguing with someone. So TV. I'm glad I didn't wear the mic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yikes. All right. Here we go. So Holiday 197 wants to know, what are your thoughts on Melrose and her comments regarding your confidence throughout the season? And I know you kind of touched on that earlier, but do you have anything additional you would like to say?
Nah, when you're insecure about someone, you're going to talk shit about someone. So if she felt as if I was a threat, then of course she's going to talk shit. I never felt intimidated by her. It wasn't all about that. I just thought she was a catty little bitch, and she was. And at the end, when I look back now, having grown as a person, it's her insecurities that got the best of her. So it is what it is.
Well said. Well said.
Yep.
Raymond wants to know. Oh, that is so cool. So he spelled it REI and then space MOND.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of cute. That's kind of spicy a little bit. I like that.
That's unique.
So question. He has a question about the challenge that was... You know what? Let me take this pause to say, I feel bad for y'all Cycle 7 girls. I think I told Eugenia this. I think of all cycles of girls who need counseling for post-traumatic stress disorder, it is definitely the girls from Cycle 7. Like,
I
they tortured you guys. And like, just looking back on it and like, you know, hearing you talk about the show and the real modeling world, they tortured you guys with some stuff that wasn't even fashion for the entertainment of the people in the mighty dollar. And some of those challenges made no, why am I running in the middle of the desert clicking a freak? I don't know. Okay.
it again, it was all for TV because that would never happen in the real world. And if it did, we would be getting paid bank. But, you know, we weren't making that money.
So they're asking, did she really not do the dance aggressively in front of the judges, or did she, or she did, but it was edited to look like she didn't? They're talking about that last challenge and that.
I'm like, how do you dance aggressively? I've danced my whole life, and that didn't make sense to me in my brain. I was like, dance aggressively, and all I could think about, I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, it wasn't twerking back then. It was like called booty dancing. I'm like, what do you want me to do? So all I did was do that. So and of course I got embarrassed because I'm like, this is not dancing. And how do you dance aggressively and make it look cute? So I was like, nah, fuck it. I'm just gonna do this and I'm out. That was that. So.
Were you tired by then, just like by how the show was going?
Mentally, yeah. Mentally, you start getting exhausted. Here's another thing. Here's a little juice that a lot of girls denied, but there's a couple of girls, we sat down and we were looking at our tickets. So we get our tickets with the return dates on them. Let me tell you how. There were girls who left before me whose return dates were sooner than mine. There were girls whose return dates were further out. So I have this notion that they already determined who the winner was going to be, or at least the top 5. And they were eliminating girls through a process because it was Brooke and me, and our return dates were similar, very similar. It was basically the same week before Spain. And guess what? We both got eliminated. All the girls that didn't like go past a certain threshold were eliminated according to those dates on their tickets. And I actually questioned production. I'm like, what is this? I said, why does my return date say this date? And they're like, oh, no, that's nothing. We had to put a return date on there. That was their thing. And when we talked to other girls about it, they're like, no, that's not true. That's probably not it. You know, they have to do that. And I'm like, no, girls, something's up. And AJ was onto it too. AJ and Meg, the shorter Meg. So we were onto it. We caught on, but everybody played it off. Everybody played it off.
Just for clarification for the kiddos at home, when you say return dates, define that for us and what that process was and when that took place.
Okay, so you know how you get a ticket and you get a round trip ticket? So
a plane ticket.
A plane ticket. So your plane ticket says you're flying out, let's say December 5th, and you're returning on December 16th. So there was girls. I was there for 2 months. So there were girls who were, hey, all right, I got to top model December 5th, but my return date says December 10th that I'm out of there. So guess what? That girl got eliminated December 9th and went home December 10th. Because my ticket was, I wish I had kept all the paperwork. My ticket was, I got there, and then the day I got eliminated, I flew out 2 days afterwards, or the day after. And they put me up in a hotel, and my flight was the next day.
Okay, because I was just about to ask you, because from my understanding from girls in the past and like in what Mr. J did in his J's chats, that you girls are sequestered while you guys are filming, and you girls actually go with the cast over to the international destination just so it doesn't leak on who got eliminated and stuff like that. So you're saying on your cycle, so you didn't go to Spain.
I didn't go to Spain.
You did not go to Spain.
No, we didn't go to Spain. We didn't make it to Spain. We were eliminated right before they left.
And everyone who got eliminated had already flown out.
Yeah, they have.
But this was already determined when you originally got your first ticket.
That's what we believe. See, I can't prove it because when I asked production, they denied it. They said, oh, no, we have to put a return date out. So I'm like, then all the girls should have the same return date. Why does everybody have different return dates? So that made no sense. So that made no sense. And a lot of the girls caught on. I was one of them. I pointed it out, and 3 to 4 girls agreed with me, and the others denied it because their return date set further later on. And the other girls were sooner, if not to the middle and before me. So yeah, nobody talks about that. Nobody caught on to that. And I'm not making it up. I have not, like, okay, if that's the way the show works, it works that way. But don't try to make it seem like, oh, the girl's going to be here the whole damn time, and they're not. So, and we sign a very hefty contract that says if we open our mouths and disclose it, we will have a 10-story building full of lawyers to come after us. So, but that three-year NDA form is done.
It's finished.
It's finished. It's been done. It's been done. So, may I spill the tea?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Y'all can't keep doing this to me. I will retire from doing this. I will be done. Y'all cannot keep doing this.
Keep giving you shit, huh? You were ready for it. I told you I had
not ready.
I told you.
Listen, everybody, we are speaking with Anchal from Cycle 7 of America's Next Top Model. Listen, if you want to get your question answered to Anchal live, just get a badge. It says support Oliver by getting a badge. Get a badge, and then once we get to the end, we will read your questions aloud, and she will answer them. You will hear from the horse's mouth. All right, moving on. So Robert Wilson is asking, do you think if your confidence was higher then, do you believe you would have gone further? What shook your confidence the most? Was it the girls or something else? You were the most naturally beautiful models ever on Top Model.
I think, okay, believe it or not, I think my confidence was higher then in a certain aspect, but the way they made it about physicality, I definitely got overwhelmed. Because I know I was more vocal then than I am now. Like that show puts you through a lot of things where mentally you kind of shut down and you start observing things differently. But I think overall it just came down to I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for this world to like put emphasis on on physicality like that, on beauty. And I was just like, okay, but I'm here to model, you know? Modeling isn't always about that. So when they put it on, just like everything was like, oh, you're to this, you're to that. I'm like, how am I supposed to perceive this? And how do I apply this?
Right.
It didn't click for me. So, and then on top of that, to hear all this bullshit coming out of like the other girls picking on you in some way, I'm not going to say that was all of it. Like that didn't really bother me in that moment in time. That didn't really mess with my self-esteem.
Gotcha.
It was more, I didn't have a sure foot. Like I didn't know where I belonged. I didn't know what I was doing. I think that's where my downfall was. I didn't know what was my objective at this point. So I'm like, I between the comments and everything, I think mentally I brought myself down.
Got you.
At the end of the day, that's what occurred. It's like I overthought everything, and I am an overthinker. Like I can't help it. I overthink everything.
Gotcha. And so I'm curious to know now, after leaving Top Model, how did you control that, like rein that in?
It's a lot of self-observation, having really amazing friends, you know, who help guide you, who point out your faults as well, you know. So they've kept me humble in that sense. I think I've always been down to earth, but it's they point out your faults and you're like, look, girl, you're gorgeous, but you got to work on this, this, and this.
Beautiful.
Like I became friends with Manny, who actually was my manager at one point, and now he's a renowned photographer. He's amazing.
Manny, yes, we've talked. He's so nice.
He's so sweet. He's amazing. And we've had our ups and downs, but he's always been upfront with me from the beginning, and he's always believed in me. I've never had someone believe in me so much, you know? But like having friends like that who help guide you, who try to tell you like, look, girl, you're beautiful, but do what you like, do what you want, don't be influenced by the world, you know, don't be influenced, don't do something just because other people want you to do it.
Gotcha, that makes sense.
So yeah, so like throughout the years, it just came, it was a lot of like self-observation and learning, getting to know myself better, you know, and realizing body weight isn't everything. Because let me tell you, during quarantine, I got rolls on rolls on rolls, and I can still bag any man that I want.
Yes.
So
I
that
believe
has
I'm very
never affected anything. When it comes to men, it's because at the end of the day, it's women who critique women the most, and we critique ourselves the most, you know, when it comes to self-image and everything. And then especially nowadays with social media, everybody's face tuned, everybody's perfection. They have these tiny little waists and these big butts. Like everybody looks the same. Everybody looks the same. So I'm like, not, it's the world we live in, but you know, don't fall into that trap. Just don't fall into that trap. As a woman speaking to other women, to young women, don't fall into that trap. You're beautiful. It doesn't matter what you have. Just do it for you. Do it for you. Don't do it for the industry. Don't do it for the money. Do it for you.
That is so beautifully well put.
That's like the best advice I can get.
Thank you for that.
And it took me years of my own torment to learn that.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yes, ma'am, Anchal. I was over here getting a little misty-eyed. I was like, girl, yes, you better speak it. Okay. So Big Bino is asking, oh my God, I wanted you to win so bad. Did you ever... not Big Bino. I'm sorry. I read these questions in real time. I love y'all, but Big Bino, don't be doing this to me with these people. So I'm curious to know, what were your experiences, if any at all, to answer his question, to ask his question. What were your experiences like with production? Did you have good experiences, so-so experiences, bad experiences?
Actually, my time with like production wasn't bad. When you're speaking of production, are you talking about the top of the top, like the people who are like the producers and stuff? Or are you talking about like people who were back there day to day, mics and cameras and all that stuff?
Well, let's do that. Tell me about the day-to-day folks and then the powers that be.
Day-to-day folks, down, like still friends to this day type thing. Actually, the girl who scouted me for Top Model, we're still friends to this day. I always write out to her. We talk all the time. Yeah, super supportive. I love seeing what she's doing all the time. So yeah, we're still friends to this day.
Beautiful.
When she comes to Miami, I go visit her, and vice versa. If I'm in her town, I go visit her. Now, when it comes to production, we didn't really have a lot of access to top production, like producers and stuff. So, are you making fun of me?
No, I was earlier. I have put the day-to-day people over here and the other people. So I was,
my bad.
no, it's okay.
All right, so
the powers that be.
The powers that be, like we did get to talk to them, like Michelle, and then there was can't remember the other names right now, but Ken, all of those people, like we did get to talk to them on a day, like here and there, but they weren't bad. They were very welcoming. They were sweet. They were understanding. They listened. But again, TV is TV. Like what happened at the end of the day, they did it according to what makes the money. What makes TV entertaining.
Do you feel like anything that was shown was contrived, manipulated, a little zhuzhed up versus how it happened in real life?
A little zhuzhed up. A lot of it.
Give me like...
They made me seem like I was whiny and I was crying all the time and woe is me. It wasn't woe is me. It was just like we're living this real time while you guys watch it 5 to 6 months afterwards. Like I definitely don't remember crying so much. I was like, damn, they just try to pick up any moment they could to make me cry. But I guess that's the storyline that they had lined out for me. And they're like, oh, she's going to be like this way. Let's twist it and let's push it that way. So every girl has a story to her and they kept trying to push that storyline. So that's how that ended up being that way.
Gotcha. Julie Evans is asking, Oliver, say the name of each girl and tell Anchal to say the first thing that comes to her head. Ooh. Why have I never thought about to do this before? Oh my God. Here we go. And I just Googled them. Christian Evans, the first girl home.
Love her, super sweet, down to earth girl, still amazing. I actually talked to her. We're friends on Instagram. So yes, I like her.
Megan Morris.
Don't really get to know her own little world. Okay, I don't know if you're into zodiacs or whatever. I would label her as an Aquarius. I know that sounds weird, but they're in their own little world. It's almost like alien-esque. You can't hear me?
No, I'm an Aquarius.
Oh, see, I love Aquarius. I'm not saying, but it's like alien-esque in the sense of like Aquariuses are in their own little world. They do what pleases them.
What pleases them.
I have nothing. I've dated many Aquariuses and I have Aquarius friends, so don't. I have no hate towards them.
Monique Calhoun.
Monique. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. My God, though. There's definitely something she has to work on mentally.
Was she that bad?
Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. I remember the phone scene. The only reason the phone scene happened is because I was trying to sleep, and my sleep is precious to me, okay? I am a cranky little bitch without sleep.
I should have known you were from Miami then.
Oh, yeah. So...
It just clicked me. Go ahead.
So... I remember the girls came upstairs and they're like, oh my God, this girl won't get off the phone. Like, I got to pay my bills and all this other stuff. I was like, oh, hell nah. And it just like clicks for me. I'm like, oh, fuck this shit. I need to sleep and this girl's got to pay her bills. So I ran downstairs and I'm like, yo, Monique, what's up? Like, other people have to pay their bills. This girl went off on Jesus this and Jesus that. And I was like, what? And then she got like aggressive. I was like, oh, hell no. So I went in there and I hung up the phone. I was like, don't you tell me what the fuck to do and don't you fucking touch me. So I was in the office. Yeah. So that's the only reason I got involved is because I could not sleep. I could not sleep. And she fucked with my sleep.
Anchal, let me tell you something. You are a bad bitch. And to anybody, like Nicki Minaj said, tell them to suck some dick. You went in there and you hung up that woman's phone.
She wouldn't get up. No. See, you're going into it. I didn't really think of it as that. You know, I didn't think they were going to catch that moment. I really didn't go in there for like, other than the sense of like, get the fuck off the phone so I can go to bed, yo. I'm tired of these girls complaining.
Right.
Well, it's like, what the hell?
That's my gay mother, T.S. Madison, now calling me. Like, why? They know why? Everyone has my calendar. They know what I do from day to day. And they're interrupting my
I am locked out at this time.
Jesus. Okay. So I want to know, was there anything that Monique did during the show that did not get shown to us on the television?
Like all of us, when we're on set, we're not necessarily next to each other at all times. So I haven't really seen. Like, I kept my distance from Monique from that point forward. Like, she didn't seem like a bad person, you know, honestly. I really didn't get to know her while on the show that much, except for that little confrontation, you could call it. That's it. So, Monique with after, and they were like, she's a beautiful one, set with them. So, uh-oh. You're getting mad. Don't be mad at him. Call him later, and you can curse him out.
I feel like sometimes they get together and like, hey, how can we terrorize him today?
Yeah, that's probably it. Or they're trying to get their questions in. I guarantee you.
Anchal, you a popping girl. Anchal, you popping. They trying to, that's exactly what it is. You see how that just changed my mood? They're trying to call me to get in contact with you.
Yo, wait.
Yes, we want to talk to Anchal ourselves. And you know what? And I'll act like I have two phones, so maybe they think they're calling my other phone.
There you go.
I'm still
That's
gonna
how you
get them.
do it.
I'm still gonna get them. And no, I'm sorry, I forgot to hit the do not disturb, and I got on here clearly. Okay, anyway, so next, going down the list of the girls. See, they didn't got me all but oh, the second Meg, who I was so sad when she went home.
Meg was awesome. Meg was super cool. Yo, she was in her own little world too, Meg, but she was like super cool. She'd be like, hey, she reminded me of like a surfer girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole like beach mentality, like all is well, just go with the flow. That was Meg. That was Meg.
I was so sad when she went home, and I was like, I know she gave a better picture than that. Like, why y'all play her out like that?
I guarantee you there was definitely a lot of shoots we did. I know there were better photos of all of us. There were definitely better photos of all of us.
Can I ask you a question about that photo shoot? So I was like, if Anchal is supposed to be the tall woman, and we've all watched Top Model and what we know judges would get on, why is Anchal sitting down, crouched down, making her body smaller? When she's a tall woman, she should be standing up. Can you tell us about that slightly?
I can't. They put me there. They were like, here's a table, here's a chair, sit here and try to make it look little. I'm like, how do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And the chair is like for like little kindergarten kids, or little toddlers, and you have to, and then they're like, do this, do that, and they're telling you how to pose. So you really don't have control over that in that sense. So when I was sitting there, like I thought about it, I'm like, can I stand up? And they're like, oh no, because of the angle of the camera and we're shooting it from here, it can't. It has to be this way.
Oh.
I remember that very vividly. Yep. So I was like, okay, that's that.
What about Miss AJ? I thought AJ was gonna go further. She had a sickening walk. She gave sickening photos, and then it's
AJ,
like they just sent her ass home.
I love AJ. AJ's sick, but AJ's a no bullshit type of woman.
That's what Eugenia said.
AJ is a no bullshit type of woman. AJ's like, nah, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling it. And she speaks up. So I think that was her downfall, is because she spoke up for herself and she called out bullshit.
Like what?
Just be like, oh, why can't I do it this way? Or why do I have to do it this way? And like, when it comes to like the shoots or like the way her hair was styled, but she was a game player, you know, she was all for the team. She was down to do things, but like she would call a production, or if she didn't feel comfortable with something, she would call people out. I don't have like a certain moment where I can say what she did. It has been quite a while, but I do remember her speaking up for herself, and I admire her for that.
Beautiful. Brooke, the girl they sent home on the day of her graduation. I thought that was so evil.
That was fucked up. That was so fucked up. Let me tell you, I cried for her because of that shit. I'm like, how are you going to do that to a girl? They just made a scene about it because they're like, oh, she's going to be graduated. Is she going to make it further, or is she going to go home? And you still sent her home. You still sent her home. But Brooke was quiet. She was like the girl next door type, but smart little cookie. But that was just wrong. That was so wrong.
And it was like she had been doing such a great job up until that point. And it was like, well, how did she suddenly go home right now?
One mistake. One little mistake. One mistake. That's it.
What about Jada?
I actually saw Jada in the airport when I first landed, and I was like, oh my God, that woman's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Like in person, she is beautiful. Like even prettier in person.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, if I had to have a competition with anything, I think I put myself in competition with her.
Gotcha.
It's like Jada, but yeah, Jada was all about family. You know, her boyfriend, she wanted to have kids and all that stuff. But Jada's a beautiful woman.
Gotcha. Okay.
No doubt about it.
The twins, Michelle and Amanda.
Michelle and Amanda, they were cute. They were fun. They honestly, they kept it neutral throughout the game. They definitely were photogenic when it came to photos, and the way their photos came out, it was very fashionable. So, but again, nothing else except for like, I think it was Amanda who called me out for eating meat, and then she covered my food with a lettuce leaf. I'm like, yo, why the fuck are you touching my plate? Like, why are you reaching and touching my plate? Like, I ordered what I ordered. Like, leave it alone. Leave it alone. I like my protein.
Yes,
I
so
get
do
it. I
I.
get it. People are gonna hate me for it, but I try. I try. I am an animal lover, but I sometimes eat meat.
And since you've already kind of spoken about Carey D and Melrose, I'll end it with Eugenia.
Okay, Eugenia. Oh my God. I was gonna call her my little nickname I have for her on the show, but I'm not gonna do that to her because she might kill me. But Eugenia, she is a fucking Barbie doll. Like, I don't understand why she hasn't become the next Naomi Campbell. I really don't. That woman is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Like, I've seen her in person, I've seen her without makeup, I've seen her with makeup. The woman is stunning. Stunning and sassy. She's very sassy. And Eugenia pretty much stayed to herself on the show.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, she knew why she was there. She was like, all right, I'm here to do this. But Eugenia is a gorgeous woman. Have
Very beautiful. She
nothing.
is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Couple more questions. So don't know me. So don't know, don't care is asking. Yes, Anchal, I have kind of a two-part question. How does she feel
Mhm.
when one of the twins? Oh well, you kind of already answered that about, and it wasn't meat. I mean, it wasn't. It was, you weren't cooking meat. You were actually cooking eggs.
Oh, I remember that.
It was
Okay,
eggs
first
that you
of
were
all,
cooking.
leave my damn eggs alone. I hadn't had anything and I wanted protein, and that was the only thing where it's like you don't have a guilt trip about eating. So I made like 8 eggs. Okay, it was like 6. But and I saw a little clip of it recently, and I can't believe I said that. She's like, "Oh, you're cooking for who are you cooking for?"
They said a
I
whole
said,
family.
"A whole family," and I said, "Yeah, me."
Bitch.
Bitch, leave me alone. Why do you
Yes,
care?
take your
You
ass on. You know,
eating it. So, and now look at everybody on keto diets and all that stuff. So
and
shut the fuck up.
and what's the main ingredient they say you can eat on keto?
Eggs,
Eggs.
protein.
Protein. Get your protein. See that's what's wrong with some of
Exactly.
you bitches. Let me
They
take this
want to sit
small
there and
commercial
eat
break.
green beans and lettuce. I'm like, bitch, let me eat my protein.
Y'all bitches got to get y'all protein in, and that's why y'all breaking y'all ankles when y'all going up the stairs, because y'all don't have no protein because you got holes in the
No,
bones.
let me tell you, my sister was a vegan. So my sister went vegan for about like 3 months. Let me tell you, she came home and she bit on something and she chipped her tooth. She went straight to the fridge and ate an egg. She was like, nah, fuck this. This ain't
Yes.
for me. She said, this ain't. And honestly, again, I'm not a health professional, but I've done a lot of studies on diet. And when it comes down to it, not everybody's body is made to have a certain diet. Everybody has a different diet. Sometimes your body is more functional on protein, sometimes a mix, and sometimes more vegetarian. So you can't look at a person and be like, you have to be a vegan, you have to be a vegetarian. Let a person do what they need to do. Of course, everything in moderation. That's it. Moderation, people.
Moderation.
That's all it comes down to.
um, Lay J100 is asking, what are your thoughts on the show never having a winner of Asian descent? Most girls were eliminated their very first time or in the bottom 2, and they go on and they talk about each girl from each cycle. Do you think that A&TM has some sort of bias against Asian models?
I can't say that they had a bias, but they probably went with what the market was looking for back then. So having been a model since I was 15, definitely there was a lot of preference for blonde hair, blue eye girls, you know, and being in Miami, of course, the market has over time changed. Now they want ethnicity, they want color, they want, you know, not the typical girl next door look. So things have definitely changed now. But back then, I think they went to what pleases the audience most.
Gotcha.
So, and when it came, I think it was a big disservice that they didn't choose like Asian descent models, or, you know, and it took them so long to choose a woman of color, you know, and a lot of the women of color that went on to do something didn't always win. They went on to do better things without having one.
Right.
And even some of the like the white girls, they went on to do better things without having won the show. So more props to them.
Yeah. Are there any moments on tape during the show that you wish were shown on TV? You was like, girl, why didn't they show that? or any moments
Oh
that were
man.
edited out?
Oh man. You know, you go back and you look at it and you're like, oh, I wish they had.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they had gotten like a lot of the moments in the car, like in the limousine, us waiting around. We did some stupid stuff. I know when we did our naked shoot on top of the rooftop, wish they had gotten more of that. That was the first time I had ever been like, I didn't even wear bikinis like back then because I'm an Indian girl. Like we don't do bikinis. That's showing too much. That is revealing. So you don't do that. And when they say you get to shoot naked on a helipad on top of a rooftop, yo, that was everything for me. I'm like, I remember my dad when they first aired the show. My dad called me. He said, "You do it again." I'm like, in a heartbeat.
That is
I was like, oh my
glorious.
God, what have I done?
That is glorious. Yes, ma'am, Anchal. Okay. Avery Miller is asking, what were your experiences like with Tyra Banks? Of course, the TB.
You guys saw more Tyra than I did. Like we didn't see Tyra Banks like you guys saw Tyra Banks.
Mm-hmm.
You actually had like the moment we have with Tyra Banks is literally the moment they filmed. That's it. So there's no like behind the scenes. She's not like, the hey girls, how are you? No, it's just when the camera's on, Tyra's there. And that's it. That's in like right now, this is it. This is the only interaction we would have. There is no side like, oh, I talked to her on like I have more interaction with Miss J. Yo, Miss J cooked us some chicken. We'd have conversations. I love Miss J. Love him. What's wrong?
No, so when I was in school, I'm a big nerd, and in all
Mm-hmm.
of my classes, they taught me that repetition is not a mistake. When
Mm-hmm.
things occur more than once, you hear it more than once, you see it more than once, it's not a mistake. It's not a flaw in the design. A repetition
Mm-hmm.
means something, and it's always so funny that when I ask you girls, what were your experiences like with Tyra? And again, I don't know what you're going to say. You guys
Yeah.
always say something, very similar, and then a lot of times you girls get this like light bulb in your hand and like, who I did connect with, and all of you girls have said Miss J.
Miss J was so down to earth. Like, and he was connected. Like, super cool guy. Like, if anybody was more relatable, it would be Miss J. Like, if you could sit down and have a conversation with someone.
What were your experiences like with the other judges? Nigel,
I didn't really speak to Nigel. I didn't really speak to the other judges.
the Twix,
So I didn't speak to them.
and then
So
what
it's like
about Mr. J?
Mr. J was cool. Mr. J was, oh my God, Mr. J. When we did the narcissistic shoot, he said something to me I will never forget. When we were doing the narcissistic shoot, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, it was kind of vulgar what he said, but this shit was hilarious because you had to feel yourself, you had to be all into it. And
Uh-huh.
he's like, yes, girl, that floor better be wet. And I was like, what?
That is funny. Yes, ma'am, Anchal.
I was like, excuse me? And I had never heard that term before. I was like, oh.
That is funny. That
So
is
like
funny.
Mr. J was cool too. So he was very quiet, He'd say the little snarky remarks here and there, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But nothing
Akira 1990 again wants to know, and I think she's one of our Reddit girls. They're asking, I saw pictures of Janice Dickinson at the Top Model House during this cycle. Did she ever visit you guys and it wasn't shown?
Ooh, I will be honest. I am not going to answer that one because I don't remember.
Okay.
I honestly don't remember. So I'm going to let that one go.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Louise wants to know, can you please tell us about your last judging? Was it really how it was shown? The scene that shows you running backstage, was it true?
Yeah. I think I got so embarrassed I did run backstage.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay. And then that's when I knew I'm like, I'm done with this. I was tired. I was like, okay, I'm done. I want to go home.
Gotcha.
Mentally I was ready. I was
ready
done.
to dip.
Yeah, I was ready to dip. It was too much. And I think it also had to do with Brooke being eliminated, and it was a graduation. I'm like, this is bullshit. So
The Cycle 7 girls all need therapy.
That's a fact.
And
that is a fact.
I could go down the list, but even down to like even torturing Carey D in the top 4 to make her get in that water, and you already know what Mama's had to deal with, and you know all the other stuff. Like
that's what they did. They pick your weakness and then they use it against you. Like they brought up the whole contact things with me. It's like in India, here's the weird part. Okay, so when I brought up the whole skin issue with girls, with bleaching and all that stuff, Tyra Banks actually brought that up later on her talk show with Aishwarya Rai, which is a huge Indian Bollywood star. Aishwarya Rai is gorgeous. Like, she was one of my idols. But when Aishwarya Rai literally sat on the couch and said, oh, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know why she doesn't think she's beautiful. India doesn't promote, like, we think everybody's beautiful. We don't promote bleaching products and all this. While she was the spokesperson for Fair and Lovely, which is a huge, like, fairness cream in India. Like, women bathe themselves in that shit if they could. And it's true. It's like back then, and like, of course, the world is slowly changing, but in India, it's a huge thing with your skin color. Technically, I'm considered dark. My sister is actually light-skinned than me in comparison, and I'm considered dark for an Indian girl. And I remember after the show, and they made me look darker in pictures too. So they would actually edit my pictures and make them look darker. So people thought I was like, especially with my Instagram photos, people thought I was like filtering myself, making myself look lighter. And I'm like, no, like I go in the sun, I get dark. I go to New York, I get light. It like things happen. So it's like that. Oh, you got a whole like beverage bar service happening? I'm in the wrong place.
My boyfriend, my boyfriend is always here.
Oh, yay for your boyfriend.
Yes.
So cute.
Yes, we love him. We love him.
I love him too.
Okay,
we're
what you
doing this in
say?
person. I said next time we're doing this in person, so my boyfriend can bring me some drinks too.
Mm-hmm. He's from Miami. Go figure.
Oh, hey.
From
Look
Miami.
at that.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Okay, so I think we're almost. Oh, Louise wants to know about makeovers.
Makeovers. Oh shit. Here we go. What do you want to know?
Okay, so his question, I'm going to use as our gateway drug to makeovers, because I just want you to tell me everything about makeovers. Everyone loves you guys talking about makeovers. Would you have reacted like Jada or any other girl from Top Model when they got a drastic makeover? I'm going to add to that and ask you, what was your perspective about makeover day and all the hoopla hoorah that went on?
Okay, I was super excited to actually do the whole makeover thing, because in an Indian household, like, the long hair is beauty. My dad's like, don't ever touch your hair. I had never had it cut in layers. It was always that little straight trim right across. I thought they were going to cut my hair short. I was like ready for that. I'm like, oh, I'm good. They're going to give me like a little do. It's going to be so cool. They're like, your hair goes in layers and we're extending your forehead. I'm like, what? What does that mean? So they're like, we're going to thread your forehead line. That is the most painful shit ever. Ever. They literally, okay, I'm anybody's hair. Like, I have thick hair. It is thick. They tweezed at least, not tweezed, they threaded it at least a finger worth, like up to here, which was so weird because then it looked like I had a fade, first of all, because my scalp was different, different skin color. And then on top of that, my hair would grow back in 3 days and it looked like I had and I would have scabs. I would have literal scabs. And to maintain it, I would have to go every week to a threading place in a mall nearby and get it done. Mm-hmm.
They threaded a finger amount of your hair?
They did all of this to make it look like I had a bigger forehead. I have a little forehead. What do you want? So yeah, like all of this was threaded.
And Anchal, you sat there and let them do that.
It was a part of the show. I thought that was logical. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I know. It's stupid. The things you do. But I would have literal scalps. Like, this would be bleeding because you're pulling the hair out from the root. Mm-hmm.
Yikes. What is
Yeah.
your least favorite photo shoot on the show?
My least favorite would be actually the Oprah one. Like it was fun, but it just made no sense to me. I'm like, why do I have to be Oprah? Like, what are you trying to say? And I'm not saying anything against Oprah. I felt that. I was like, all right, she's a billionaire. We're good to go. We're like, you know, she's a powerful woman. I
The
embrace
school.
that one, but I didn't understand the concept behind it.
Whoever styled that photo shoot needs to be shot. They need to be shot. Whoever stopped that photo shoot needs to be shot in their finger knuckles and made to write, I would never do this again on the board 100 times. I would never do this again. I would never do this again. I would never do this again. The
Yeah.
styling was
They literally took
disastrous.
away. Oh, yeah. Did you see what they did to me to make me look like Stedman? I look like my dad. They literally like glued a mustache onto me. And then I had like a little fro, and I thought that was so like it was wrong. It was so
very
wrong.
wrong.
I'm like, everything about it was wrong. But there I was.
And there we watched.
And there you watch, and you were like, okay. And like, what are you gonna say? It's not like we had a pick. We just had to portray it. I'm like, all I ever know about Oprah is she's happy, and you win this, and you win this. And that's like at that time she had her talk show.
Gotcha.
So that's all we knew.
Okay. I'm gonna get into some questions about your post model, your
Go
post
ahead.
top model career. I'm curious to know, how was it for you transitioning from top model into your career? And we heard you say earlier it was kind of difficult when you spoke about, pictures you could use and things like that. What was that experience like for you?
So for me, it was a huge wake-up call in the sense of like, I wish I had never done top model because my career was kind of already establishing before I did top model.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think if I had stuck to that route, it probably would have flourished further versus top model happening and everybody looked at me as a reality star. And then you were kind of, it doesn't put you in like a celebrity status or anything like that when it comes to when you walk into an agency. They're looking at you like, all right, so can you really model? And now you don't have that book. You're kind of, you go in with this false sense of like accomplishment. And that's not how that works. So you have to start from scratch. So it's basically starting from scratch all over again and then trying to make these agencies believe in you that you can actually model beyond that. And you have to pull yourself away from the whole top model brand. So there was years I didn't want to talk about it. I was just so angry. And I was just like, why the hell? I was angry with me. I was angry with myself. I was angry for not handling it differently, for going on the show, for, it was just a lot of things that just aggravated me with the whole ANTM. But it gave me a great opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Great opportunity. I'm not going to lie. I met some amazing people. I had some amazing opportunities. It did thrust me into this world that I wasn't familiar with, but I got to see it. So I'm not going to complain about that in that sense. So that's the only thing is just in the modeling world, you have to work 20 times as hard to like reestablish yourself after top model to prove to the world that you're more than that.
What were some of the things that you had to do to reestablish yourself?
God, Manny, who was actually my manager, it was like pulling teeth for him because there was times I was so hard on myself. I didn't want to get up and do things like you have to go to a casting. When I moved to New York was like a really big wake up call because Miami, when it comes to the modeling world, is a different ball game. Mm-hmm. Miami is very commercial. New York is very fashion. So Manny would walk with me for miles. So we would be on a diet. We would go exercising. We would do everything. I was skinny. I'm telling you, I'm 5'11" and I was 124 pounds. I had a trainer. And then I started making muscles. So like I started accepting my body for a different, and then I was becoming a woman, so I wasn't that skinny little teenager anymore. My hips got bigger. It's like, I'm going to say it's what the girls pay for now. I had it naturally and I was being turned away because of the way my body looked. I was being turned away because of that too. So,
That's why it's,
it's,
I'm so happy you said earlier, that's why it's so important to accept who you are and not allow people to tell you different because
yeah.
of things just like that. You were back then what people are paying big money for. And some of them who can't pay big money for risk their lives on tables doing things. You are what the people now want to be. And it's like back then,
It was such a faux pas. It was like, oh no, you can't have that. Your boobs are too big. Your hips are too this. No, you can't do that. Like the whole curve model industry has really turned things around, but it's still like I'm actually not big enough to be a curve model, but I'm not skinny enough to be a fashion model.
mm-hmm.
So the jobs that I do acquire, thankfully to TV and other things, is a blessing because I need to be like a size 12 and above to be considered a curve model. I sit in the middle anywhere from 6 to 8, and that's the average girl's, body weight or like body shape and size. But that's considered too big to be fashion because you need to be a 4 and a 2. And I was a 4 and a 2, and let me tell you, I looked weird. Like for my body, that wasn't my body type.
It wasn't your body.
Yeah, it wasn't my body type. So
Love yourselves, guys. Love yourself first.
absolutely.
Love yourself.
One thing I can tell everybody, love yourself. Just accept every flaw. And that's what scars are beautiful. Like scars are beautiful. Imperfections are beautiful. They make you who you are. Like a lot of people that get turned away for having scars are what makes them the person that they are. So just stick to that.
Yes, love
Yeah.
yourself.
Love yourself at the end of the day. And that takes a lot of time, and mental readiness to get to that point. But if I could tell you something, just love yourself.
Love yourself. Miss Anchal gonna say it like that, but Oliver Twixt is gonna tell you, fuck what a bitch got to say about you.
There you go.
I will say it again. Fuck what a bitch got to say about you. You look yourself in the mirror, because I had to do it myself. You look yourself in the mirror and you look at everything about you and you say, God made me this way for a reason. And I am the only person that walks around this earth that looks like this. I today will decide to be proud and happy that I look like this and will walk with confidence. And anyone who objects to that, fuck yeah. And if
Fuck
you
them.
didn't had a couple of drinks like I am, you say fuck your mama too, bitch. You just better be ready to fight after that.
There you go. Amen to all of that. All of it.
You better be ready to fight after that.
There you go. And that's
Yes.
that's the best advice right there from Oliver himself. You have to do that. Just accept you for who you are and stop comparing yourself. There is no point in comparing. There's so many girls who go out there, oh, I want the same lips as her and the eyes as her and eyebrows and this. Stop. Just stop. You fuck up yourself trying to be somebody else and you forget who you are.
And you're never going to win. You're never going to win trying to chase something that will change the moment something, a new fashion trend comes out or something. You're never going to win. Be you and be comfortable with who you are, because who you are is enough. It's more than enough already. You just have to know it, and it's your job to make sure other people know it. Okay, I'm done.
No, you said it. You say what you have to say. Let it all out.
Okay, well, I hope you keep this same spirit, because this next question I picked out because I actually don't even know the answer to this. But I remember being a young girl, and of course, your fan, I was a fan that kept up with all of you guys, like throughout my years, because I was like, we only see them for this 1 year that they're on this show, and it's like we never know what they go and do after this, So of course, anytime you girls made MySpace's, Twitter's, Oliver Twixt was on your page watching, because this is my number 2 favorite show of all time, because charm will always be number 1. But listen, this person is asking, their name is Zeta64, so we're blaming it on Zeta64, but they're asking, how was it like dating Jim Carey?
I'm gonna shut this right here. I don't talk about my love life. None of that. We're gonna leave it alone. But he is a very smart person, and he's very he's wise. He's a very wise person. And he is funny, but very wise person, a gentleman, and we're gonna leave it at that.
we are going to leave at that. I'm just going to curve it a little bit. I remember, being younger, being young. Guys, I'm not even a quarter of a century yet. But so when Top Model was banging and banging, I was young. I was elementary school, middle
Okay,
school.
you already called me Auntie Anchal. I'm gonna have a conversation about that later with you.
So I remember looking in the pictures and on the web, and Anchal was seen out with Jim Carey. And I'm a punk from South Florida. I know a lot of y'all watching this don't know what that means, but Anchal definitely knows exactly what that means. So I was like, yes, ma'am, Miss Anchal, you gotta work your set, girl. Work your set. I'm gonna leave it at that. And someone is asking, how was it shooting for the cover of Cosmopolitan?
See, I did the shoot. The thing is, the cover never made it to Cosmopolitan. It was more like, there's a word for it that they do. So it's like a little test type that you can submit and they can pick it. But it's unique like any other photograph, like picture that you take. I just didn't see it going beyond that, but it was like a test for it.
Gotcha.
So, yep. That's that.
Well, listen, Anchal, I have no more questions for you.
Wow.
I'm going to ask you a question. But before I do that, I'm going to tell everyone who purchased a badge, you can go ahead and start doing your questions now. And then once Anchal is done answering, I'm going to answer your questions right here. Again, I'm asking the questions for the people who copped a badge or you're in for Ms. Anchal right now while she was here and right now in the space talking about Top Model. Tell everybody all the things you were able to do post Top Model in your modeling career that is great. Like, shout yourself out, give yourself all your trophies right now.
Jeez, there was a lot that I was able to do. I got involved with a lot of charities. I love the charities aspect of it because you can use your platform for something good. So, like AIDS awareness, American Heart Society, anything and everything when it came to that. I got to do a lot of shows. I got to do Royal Pains, Gossip Girl, White Collar. There was another one. I know I'm missing something. I actually got to be on a set of a couple of movies, How I Met Certain People. And, it propelled me to a place where I was actually enjoying what I was doing. I really enjoyed like being in that industry.
Here we go. Okay, guys. So just to tell you how this goes, everyone who got a badge, I'm reading your questions as you're commenting down in the live because it's just easy for me to see that you got a badge, one, and then I can read your question underneath. So here we go. We're not going to keep Ms. Anchal for anywhere longer than we already have. She's done such an amazing job. Thank you, Anchal, for this wonderful experience.
My pleasure. It was so fun to do this.
I had fun doing this. Like, this was so much fun for me. Okay. How was working with Nigel?
I didn't really get to, he's like any other photographer. Like, I didn't see it any other way. I just treated him as a photographer who's a judge, and it was a job to do. I think that's how I looked at every photo shoot. It was a job to do, and I was here to do it.
So
that's
Andre, yes. Now, I love how he did this. It's Andre, yes. Okay. Yeah. Were you asked back for All Stars?
No, I was not. And I probably wouldn't have done it.
Fact.
Unless I got paid bank. So, yeah.
He also was asking, what do you remember from the girl who was conservative and posed nude? It was from the audition episode. Remember she only took like 5 photos, I think?
I don't remember that. I feel bad. I don't remember that.
Don't feel bad.
Exact moment, but yeah, no, because I'm conservative and I still did that shit. So
right, to be honest, when you said that you were so excited about standing on top of the thing, I just envisioned you like just excited and happy.
Yeah, I would have been.
Randy Malam, number 2, wants to know: do you like acting or modeling more?
Ooh, okay. So here's the thing: being shy. And being such an overthinker, acting is super difficult for me, but I actually enjoy it. I actually enjoy acting. But I kind of get into my head a little too much, so I have to turn that off. But once I get into the flow of things, I'm good to go. Now, modeling is easy. When it comes to modeling, you walk down a runway, you do your shoots, you're good to go. Acting, you have to deliver your lines, you have to talk to them. So it's like you have to have like this chemistry growing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's different with modeling. Your mouth is shut, you have a chemistry with the camera and the photographer, and you're good. Acting is something different, you know, it's a different beast. And I respect actors. I really, really do.
Gotcha.
Really do. That is a different ball game.
Cover girl Nay wants to know, when was the last time you spoke to Tyra?
Actually, recently, like maybe 2 years ago, because I went to, what is that? Oh my God, my memory's going, this damn quarantine. What is that show? That show, America's Got Talent. There you go. While she was the host of America's Got Talent, Howie Mandel introduced her. He's like, "Oh, I'll go grab Tyra," and
What were you doing
came
there
out.
again?
Oh, I was just watching the show. I was just there to watch the show. Me and other girls from Deal or No Deal.
Miss Anchal, you know, I'll talk to you after this. Just know I think you're iconic. Please know I think you're iconic.
I appreciate it.
No. But we'll talk. We shall talk.
Oh, you got it.
But tell us about Tyra.
So yeah. So that's it. She saw me. She was like, "Oh, hey." And then I gave her a hug. She still looks the same gorgeous woman that she is. Gave her a hug, called it a day, and she walked away.
Oh, well, that's nice of her.
Yeah, that was it. But we'll talk later. We'll talk later. I'll tell you exactly what went down. Anyways.
You don't want to say it now? It's just me and you. It's me and you right now.
No, I think I've said enough.
Okay, Randy wants to know, do you still stay in contact with any of the... do you still stay in contact with Mr. or Miss J?
No, I don't. I follow Miss J on Instagram, but I don't reach out or anything like that. If I saw her, I'd be like,
of course,
I'd be super excited and happy, but yeah, no, we don't stay in touch like that.
Janita Blue _ wants to know, did you go back to school?
I did. I did not finish it. I'll be honest. That shit is beyond me. I went back to school and I just could not focus. And then when it came to modeling, it's like when I just get up and go and I have to model. The last time I went to school, I had to fly to Morocco and I had to take finals. So I asked my professor, I'm like, "Hey, can I take my finals when I get back?" Oh, now people are calling me. Can I take my finals when I get back? And by the way, I will call you back. I know you saw this. Okay.
We're about to get off like in less than 2 seconds.
Yeah, she's like, "No, you can't." And I was like, "All right, well, fuck it." And then they put me on probation from school. So I was like, "All right, you know what? I'm done." So, and then getting back into it was such a hassle, having to put in appeals and all this other stuff. So I'm like, "All right, no." So I actually went to school in a different way. Let's just say that.
Gotcha. Cool.
I went to school for something else. I didn't do it the traditional way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Shout out to everyone who got a badge. Thank you guys so much. Before I do my closing with Miss Anchal, I just want to give a shout out to Be Rich Beauty, who helped me before this get ready for this live by helping me do like a simple beat, just a real simple beat. And he is a beauty influencer on YouTube, Be Rich Beauty. I'm actually going to drop the link to his YouTube channel below this video when I post it on YouTube. Go over there and show him some love and tell him Oliver Twixt sent ya. Yeah. Anchal, if you were standing right before Tyra Banks in 2020, what would you say to her?
Thanks for the amazing opportunity, but you could have been a little bit more empathetic with all of us. Like, we admired you in such a way. I wish you would have given us the same respect in that matter. Just empathy.
Empathy.
That's it.
Cool.
Because I still admire her as a woman. Like, she's done a lot of great things, but as a person, I wish she would have been more empathetic.
Empathetic.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Also, I love your song Sugar. That is my jam now. I heard it yesterday, and I'm a little addicted.
Are you saying my song?
Your song, yes, not Tyra's. Yours.
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you so much. Thank you. That song almost did not happen.
What? Why?
So the version of my song Sugar that you guys know is a demo that I recorded actually for someone else. My NDA is still intact, so I can't say crap.
Okay.
But it was a one take demo I did, and then once I saw that the deal wasn't going to go through, I was like, well, I have this song, and at the time I had just got on this show called Chasing Atlanta, and I wanted to have a song to kind of go with me being a new cast member, and so I chose Sugar. And I didn't remember it, so I just took that one session demo and sent it to mixing and mastering. And yeah, that was a one take, one time demo I did for someone else. I can't say her name, but she is a female rapper who you guys love. It's not Nicki Minaj, but she's a female rapper legend icon. And I was working with a producer who was working with her, and I was sending her demos. And it didn't get chosen, and I kept it for myself. I'm glad you like it.
I do like it. I really do. I'm like that's iconic right there.
And while you guys are here, what I can say, what I will shout out, and I hope you guys go back and tell her, the guy who shot the video for it, I got him through Azealia Banks' best friend, who was Matt. Him and I connected with each other on Instagram. And her and I have had interactions. She's giving me great compliments and great energy and stuff like that. I did a remix of hers, but it was because of him that I was actually able to shoot the video in New York City when I went.
Look at that. Where did you shoot that?
Coney Island.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Coney Island. I've never been, but I've seen the pictures, and I was like, I think it was it.
Yeah.
Wow, that. Okay.
I feel like an icon because a song that I made for a girl that I used to go up for on Top Model, she likes.
Look at that.
That is crazy.
The admiration right here.
Is there anything else you want to share with us before I let you go?
Nah, not that I feel like I've overshared in that sense.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You have any other questions left?
No. I'm all questioned out. You did such an amazing job.
Okay. Well, look at that. See, one thing I know how to interview.
Yes, ma'am. And I think you have given us one of the most amazing
Thank you.
top model interviews ever. Like, I laughed. I cried a little bit. I was gagged.
I know you got me teary-eyed at one point. You got me teary-eyed. I was like, ooh.
So I'm going to DM you my number. I'm coming to Miami next week to work. But like I said, I do have some days off. If possible, I would love to meet you and squeeze your neck and say hi.
I'd love to meet you too. It'll be a pleasure. It'll be a pleasure. All right, guys. Thank you so much to everyone. I love you guys, and I appreciate the questions. Sorry if I didn't answer all of your questions, but there's some things I'd like to keep for myself.
And that's that. Everyone, let's send Anchal hugs, kisses, smiles, and all the positive energy as she leaves from giving us a great Top Model live interview on Cycle 7.
Love it. Bye.
That was, oh, girl, I am so, I forget that this thing goes back to like this. And girl, I mean, good thing I had on panties, but girl, I didn't know it was going to come back to all my woman. Girl, I'm not Anchal standing on top of the pedestal, girl. I don't want to show everybody my cookies just yet. Hold on. Oh, girl. Anyways, I thank you guys so much for watching, tuning in every time we do these. I love you guys so freaking much. Listen, this video will be posted on my YouTube channel. I think I have enough time to premiere it tonight. So you can go to Oliver Twixt, the YouTube channel, www.com, Google Oliver Twixt, spelled with an X, like the candy, and you can watch this video amongst the many others I've done. Listen, I am doing a personal challenge for myself to try to get all 24 cycles of Top Model under my belt, where I talk to a contestant and they tell me the things of the things of the things. Listen, I have no more. I thank you guys for watching. And remember to pray and Kegel. Now, you got to pray and Kegel at the same time. You got to be asking God, God bless me with wisdom and all the things. And you also got to be putting your mind on top. You got to pray and you got to focus. It's all about focus. Focus, focus, focus. And on top, who wants a loose kitty in 2020 going into 2020? No.